Hi friends, my name is Angela and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are doing something fun. I want to choose my TBR for August and I'm going to do it with a spinning wheel of good fortune, I'm hoping. And the reason I'm doing this month is because the last 2 months, June and July in particular, were very heavy on the mood reading. I only just reorganized my bookshelf with you and it's been calling to me and I really want to do something deliberate, whereas in the last couple of months I've been very led by my mood reading. I've been reading books that have been set in winter, locations are wintry, the mood is really wintry, and I just want to kind of jump out of that now and do something a little bit more, with a bit more variety. So I've got a spinning wheel that has a number of prompts on here and we're going to choose maybe 4 to 6 books, and that will give me a little wiggle room in case maybe there's a book that at the time I come to read it, maybe I'm not into it and I want to pick up something else. It gives me the ability to be a little bit mood led if I want to. So let's get started. Oh, okay, historical fiction. This shouldn't be too hard, but let me see what I can find. Okay, I've got it. The Women by Kristin. This is a book that I have wanted to read for a while. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I do love Kristin's work. And to be honest with you, this is really the only historical fiction that jumped out of me. I didn't want to pick a couple of them because they might have come up in the other prompts. But The Women is set in the 60s in the Vietnam War, and I think that'll be a good one. I've been wanting to read this for a while. Okay, next option. Self-help. All right, I'm okay with this. Okay, I'm not sure if this comes under self-help. I think it does. This is The Inflammation Spectrum by Dr. Will Cole. It's a book that's all about the certain foods that we eat and those foods creating inflammation. And inflammation is the source of a lot of disease. And I think I've shared with you before that these sort of books that are around health and wellness are definitely going to be in my sphere this year. I'm sure it's going to be a little dry at times, but I'm ready to learn something. So this is my self-help. All right, let's go. Oh man, I was so worried it was going to choose the longest book on my shelf, but I went with a book older than me. And I don't know if this means like the physical book is older than me or it was published before me, but let's go with the book is older than me. Okay, it was fairly limited because a lot of the books I have, I think, are reprints. But anyway, the book that I have chosen is Goodbye, Mr. Chips by James Hilton. This is definitely older than me. It actually has like a little book plate in the front that says it was awarded to someone as a book award in 1961, which I am much younger than that. And I love that the inner leaf says, "One lays down the book with the satisfaction that comes from contemplation of a piece of work supremely well done. This is too good a book to be borrowed. It should be bought. Here is a triumphant proof that a little book can be a great book. Mr. Chips deserves a place in the gallery of English characters. Never have I known more beautifully rendered a man at perfect peace with life, a finer setting forth of what happy dreams may come when you are old and grey and full of sleep." That's a little quote from Howard Spring. I think this will be delightful to pick up. It's very small. It's a tiny little book. 130 pages of very small pages. So this is one that is definitely older than me. I'm going to choose another 3. We'll see how we go. Published before 2017. Okay, I'm going to have to go to Storygraph to kind of just explore that a little bit because I'm not going through every single book to see when it was published. Books I own, published before 2017. Oh, I've got a ton of okay. I've got a ton of options. How many are there? 73. Man, clearly I like old books. Okay, so I can be a little selective with this. Okay, I know what one I'm going to go with. I've decided to go with A Date with Malice by Julia Chapman, and this was published in 2017. This is the second of the Dale's Detective series, which is about, so there's a woman who has a dating agency in this little Yorkshire town, and there is someone who in the same building that she is in opens a detective agency, and they kind of have teamed up, and I've read the first book in this series and I enjoyed it. It's a very cozy mystery kind of vibe, and this one is clearly set in winter. When Mrs. Shepherd arrives at the Dales Detective Agency on a December morning, quite convinced that someone is trying to kill her, Samson O'Brien dismisses her fears as the rambling of a confused elderly lady. But after a series of disturbing incidents at Fellside Court Retirement Home, he begins to wonder if there is something to her claims at all. Against the backdrop of a Yorkshire winter, Samson and Delilah must work together once again if they are to uncover the malevolence threatening the elderly residents of Bruncliffe. That is my book, published before 2017. Here we go. There are some books that I'm hoping I'll be able to pick, but we'll see if we get there. Historical fiction again. I've already done historical fiction, so I'm going to spin it again. Oh, a person on the cover. I can definitely think of some books that will fit into this. Okay, I have 3 very different options. The first one is Stanley Tucci's follow-up book, What I Ate in 1 Year, which I did read his first memoir and I really enjoyed it, so this is a contender. The Dutch House by Anne Patchett. I have not read. This was loaned to me by someone. I've heard nothing but good things about it. That's another option. And then I thought Trespassers by Louise Kennedy. This was something that one of you guys recommended as a book that I should read. So thinking about the books I already have, I've only got 1 non-fiction book in there, so I'm kind of leaning towards Stanley Tucci. I think this might be a really good palette cleanser in between some of these books. I really did enjoy Taste, his first book, so I think I might choose that one. Okay, we've got 5 books, so we're going to choose 1 more. A seasonal book. I actually already have a real seasonal book. The Date with Malice is quite seasonal, so I think I might respin this because part of the reason I'm doing this is to read books outside of the season, outside of these seasons I've been reading, which are very winter focused, and we're not into spring yet, so I think I'm going to respin it. Mystery, thriller, or horror? Mystery or thriller or horror? Okay, this is a book that I purchased just recently in a closing down book sale. It's an Australian author I have never read before, but I've never read her before, so I picked up 2 or 3 of her books in one hit. The Butterfly Man by Heather Rose. And Heather Rose wrote The Museum of Modern Love, something like that. I'm not sure if it was shortlisted for a book award. If I find the information, I'll put it here for you. This sounded like a really great seasonal read that is definitely a mystery, and it is set, I think she sets a lot of her books in Tasmania. On 7th of November 1974, a young English nanny named Sandra Rivet was killed in London's West End. Her employer, Lord Lucan, was accused of her murder. It was widely assumed he had mistaken her for his wife. Lord Lucan disappeared the night Sandra Rivet died and has never been seen since. Henry Kennedy lives on a mountain on the other side of the world. He is not who he says he is. Is he a murderer or a man who can never clear his name? And is he the only one with something to hide? Set in Tasmania, Africa, and London's Belgravia, The Butterfly Man is a novel about transformation and deception and the lengths we will go to protect the ones we love. So this was originally published in 2005, and the publishers Allen and Unwin recently released all of Heather Rose's books again in these beautiful editions. This was the other one I got. So these new editions, they all fit into this beautiful little moment, but they sound really interesting, and she has quite an interesting canon of books behind her, I think. So this is my mystery choice. I'm really quite pleased with this. I don't think I would have picked out these books on my own. So thank you, Wheel. So we've got The Women by Kristin Hannah, The Inflammation Spectrum, Date with Malice by Julia Chapman, Stanley Tucci's What I Ate in 1 Year, Heather Rose, The Butterfly Man, and Goodbye, Mr. Chips. I think this is good, and this would be a good dent. There's a lot of variety in here. I'm hoping that will suit any mood I'm in, but I'm really happy with that. So if you would like to follow along with me as I read these books, please follow me on Storygraph, or the links are below, or on Instagram, and I will most definitely update those as I finish the books, and I will come back at the end of August with a reading wrap up, and hopefully I have ticked off a number of these books. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week of reading ahead, and I will speak with you soon. Bye.